Where's the camera? Where's the camera? Over there? Bet. Microphone? Thank you. Alright. Let's do this bit. You know, sometimes when people talk a lot of smack, and at first you just let them go, right? You don't necessarily do anything. But at the end of the day gotta end. And karma is a bitch. Let me take y'all back to a few years ago when I had to smack the sonic rings out of this dumbass bitch. And no, I don't condone violence, but this bitch had it coming. I was finna whoop that ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, she got her ass beat because she was talking slick over the internet. Every time niggas lose against me, they get someone involved. They get the parents involved. Like, your mama's supposed to fight your fight. Your daddy's supposed to fight your fight. I'ma whip your mama and I'ma whip your daddy. And I'ma whip your ass again, you know what I'm saying? Like... So there was this bitch, right? For privacy purposes, we're gonna call her Esmeralda. And Esmeralda was a very sneaky, two-faced ass bitch. I don't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. And the thing with Esmeralda was the fact that she had a very smart mouth, you know what I'm saying? She was talking very, very reckless, especially over the internet. What happened was, a friend of mine at the time, I'm not necessarily friends with him anymore, but he was kind of dealing with this bitch Esmeralda, and somehow I got involved. You know, sometimes you got the people who just bring you a lot of trouble. Yeah, that was this nigga. This was the type of friend, everywhere you go, you just get into trouble for bullshit. Because, I don't know, the energy around that nigga's weird, I don't know. But anyways, for some reason I got into a fucking fight with this bitch Esmeralda. And Esmeralda was saying very, very slick things, you know what I'm saying? This bitch. Me and her go back and forth on Skype, right? And she was saying things like, your mama this, your daddy this, your grandma this, your uncle this, your auntie this, your grandpa this, you know what I'm saying? And you know... I was finna whoop that ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, a nigga like me, I'm like this, you know? When you say things to me personally, obviously I get offended, but I'm not necessarily the type who's gonna want to beat your ass immediately. But if you bring my family into shit, it's a different story, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a completely different story when you bring my family into the personal beefs that I have with you, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, I was like, yo, when we get back to school, I'ma beat the fuck out your ass, you know what I'm saying? And I don't give a fuck, you know, don't feel sorry for this bitch. Because every time I told my homies this story, they was like, you don't beat girls, bro. You don't do this. They was ready to fucking stand up for this bitch. Because they don't know what happened behind the scenes. That's the thing what I hate about niggas. Every time when niggas hear a story, they automatically want to disagree with you just because they want to fucking disagree with you. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I told this bitch, yo, when we get back to school, I'ma beat the fuck out of you. And basically what happened was a week passed by, and the thing with me is like, I'm a nigga, I have a talent for storing my anger, you know what I'm saying? A normal person is like, you know, when you do certain things to him or when you say certain things to him, a day after, he already forgot about it, you know what I'm saying? A nigga like me, I will remember that shit for years, and I will plot on it, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, week passed by, we get back to school, and all of a sudden, she didn't have the same energy, because the internet gave this bitch a false sense of confidence. That's what the internet does with a lot of people, even till this day. They give her a false sense of confidence, and she just didn't have the same energy. I was ready to whip her ass, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna whip your ass after school. The thing with me was like, I was so angry, I couldn't even wait after school. I was just ready to whip her ass. So it was break time. I walked up to her, and everybody around me already knew. A few niggas were already telling me like, oh, please don't do it, yo, it's just a girl, bro. It's just a girl, bro, don't do it, man. I was like, I don't give a fuck, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, the thing with life, right? If you say certain things or do certain things, you gotta stand behind those words, man. You feel me? If you got big words, you gotta have big balls. Pause. But anyways, I walked up to this bitch Esmeralda. I couldn't wait to beat her ass. So basically, everybody was around me. Everybody was around the situation. And she was like, yo, I don't have time for this. I gotta go home, you know, I gotta bring my brother home, blah, blah, you know. And I wasn't hearing any of that shit. Eventually, it happened so fast What happened was, I smacked the sonic rings out of this bitch. A glass fell on the ground. Immediately, she started crying, man. Like, she started crying and everybody just around her, all the girls were like, oh my god, you don't do that. It's just a girl, bro. I was the villain that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the villain. There was no explanation for my actions because these niggas wouldn't even understand it. These niggas just see a nigga like me and just think like, oh, I was just angry for no reason. I just hit her for no reason. She got her ass beat because she was talking slick over the internet. The thing with niggas is, when they lose a fight, they always get someone else involved in that shit. In all my fights, because I won all my fights, you know what I'm saying? I won all my conflicts, no cap. They always get someone involved. And in my case, they get their parents involved. You know what I'm saying? Every time niggas lose against me, they get someone involved. They get the fucking parents involved. Like, your mama's supposed to fight your fight. Your daddy's supposed to fight your fight. I'm gonna whip your mama and I'm gonna whip your daddy. And I'm gonna whip your ass again. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think you can bring your parents to this shit, I'm gonna whip you. Then I'm gonna smack the fuck out of your fucking parents too because they didn't raise you right. But anyways, this bitch came with her father and her father walked up to me. First thing that he told me was like, you touched my princess. We're gonna go to the principal's office. We're gonna call your parents and you're gonna get into a lot of trouble. Just by him saying, you touched my princess, I already knew that this bitch was spoiled as fuck. It explained everything, how the way she was acting and the things she was saying. This bitch had never gotten a generational ass whipping ever in her life. You know what I'm saying? A nigga like me, I was raised on dad's rights at home. What do I mean by that? You know, sometimes when you walk with your mom and you walk past the McDonald's or the KFC and you want to convince your mom to get you a Happy Meal or something, the first thing that your mom says, dad's rights at home. You know what I'm saying? If you're black, you know, you understand what I mean. Like, this is a universal experience. But my mama always told me dad's rights at home. Meaning that a nigga like me, I had to work for my accomplishment. If I wanted a Happy Meal, I had to get good grades, I guess. You know what I'm saying? It builds character, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not gonna get spoiled with a lot of things. You're not gonna go onto the streets and just talk reckless to people like this bitch Esmeralda, you know what I'm saying? This bitch Esmeralda was probably raised like, oh, you know, I'm gonna get you the biggest Happy Meal ever, then I'm buying a new bike, and I'm buying you a new dog as well, and you get just everything because you're my little princess. And that's why your princess got her ass whipped. Anyways, we went to the principal's office. I got into a lot of trouble. I couldn't even explain myself. I was a young nigga back then, so you know, I was very quiet. I couldn't even communicate what this bitch said to me because I knew I was just into trouble, and I was like, you know what? I did what I did, and I'm just ready for any type of consequences. I didn't get suspended, you know what I'm saying, because it was my first fight at the elementary school, you know, and even my teacher at that time, dumbass motherfucker, ass nigga, I don't give a fuck. I'm going off on all these niggas, but anyways, he was kind of downplaying the situation. He was saying things like, I think what happened was that you guys were just talking on the internet, and because it was the internet, you know, there's a certain miscommunication because y'all don't both understand what y'all guys are saying, and I think that is what happened. So it was a little miscommunication over the internet. No, she was talking a lot of smack about my mama. She was talking trash about my daddy. She was talking trash about my uncle. She was talking trash about my family. She got her ass beat. That's what the fuck happened. So with everything being said, right, what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story isn't necessarily, yo, you should act on violence when someone offends you. You should immediately start punching up niggas. Nah, that's not the moral of the story, man. The message is, raise your youngins right. If you could be an OG to someone, you know, if you're older than someone, if you have a little brother, a little sister, a niece, cousin, whatever, give them game. Just tell them, yo, like, there's certain things you can do and there's certain things you can't do, you know. Just give them game, man, because if you don't, the streets will. Anyways, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, cop the merchandise, read a blog, whatever. Follow me on social media. And I'm out of this bitch, man. Peace.